In the winding journey of life, each of us faces moments when troubles feel insurmountable, when pain and disappointment seem to crowd out the sunlight, and a single worry can weigh as much as the world itself. Yet, there are people among us who navigate storms with an extraordinary calm, who seem to carry burdens with grace and resilience. What sets these individuals apart? Is it that their lives are free of difficulties, or that luck favors them instead? The truth is far simpler, and at the same time, so much deeper. It is not the absence of problems that brings peace, but the capacity of the heart to hold and transform them. Consider the story of Ryan, a young man at a crossroads in his life. For months, Ryan had felt the walls closing in. He was searching for a job, each rejection feeling heavier than the last. His family, loving but anxious, pressed him for answers he didn't have. Nights were restless, filled with questions about the future and regrets about the past. Ryan's heart felt small, crowded by worry and fear, and every little problem seemed to overflow. One afternoon, seeking a moment of quiet, Ryan found himself in a small cafe, lost in thought. Around him, life went on. Cups clinked, laughter echoed, voices mingled in the gentle hum of conversation. It was there, amidst the ordinary sounds, that Ryan overheard a group of men talking about a wise old man who lived behind the hills. They spoke of him in hushed, reverent tones, describing someone who could lighten the heaviest hearts with just a few words. Something about that conversation struck Ryan. A flicker of hope ignited in the darkness. That evening, with little more than hope to guide him, Ryan set off toward the hills. The path was unfamiliar, winding through tall grass and beneath a sky streaked with the colors of sunset. When he arrived at a weathered wooden house, he hesitated before knocking. An old man answered, his face lined with age, but his eyes gentle and bright. Ryan spoke from the heart. "Grandpa, I am always sad and full of pain. Please tell me, how can I be happy?" The old man listened in silence, his gaze steady and kind. Then, without a word, he turned and walked away into the house. Ryan stood uncertain, wondering if he had said something wrong. After a few minutes, the old man returned, carrying a glass of water and a small bowl filled with salt. He handed them to Ryan and instructed him to take a handful of salt, put it in the glass, and drink. Ryan did as he was told, but the moment the water touched his lips, he grimaced. The taste was harsh and bitter, the salt overwhelming every other flavor. "It tastes terrible," Ryan said. "I can only taste the salt." The old man nodded, his expression unchanged. Then he said, "Take more salt and come with me." They walked together to a nearby lake, its surface calm under the evening light. The old man asked Ryan to throw the salt into the lake and then drink from its waters. Ryan knelt at the edge, scooped up a handful, and drank. This time, the water was cool and fresh. The bitterness had disappeared. "The water tastes fresh. I don't taste the salt at all," Ryan said, puzzled. The old man smiled, placing a reassuring hand on Ryan's shoulder. "Son, pain in life is like this salt. The amount is always the same, but whether it tastes bitter depends on the size of the container. If your heart is small like a glass, even little pain will overwhelm you. But if your heart is large like a lake, no pain can make it bitter." He let the words settle, and Ryan listened with newfound attention. "Life is full of problems," the old man continued. "No one is free from sadness, regrets, or worry. But patience and a big heart turn pain into wisdom. Don't let yourself be a glass, become a lake." As the sun dipped behind the hills, painting the lake in shades of gold and violet, Ryan understood. The answer was not to try and eliminate pain or avoid hardship, but to grow his heart until it could hold all of life's troubles without being defined by them. The world would offer salt again and again, but the bitterness would never overwhelm him if he chose to expand his heart. From that day forward, Ryan approached his problems differently. Instead of shrinking from them, he opened himself to compassion, for himself and for others. He practiced patience in the face of disappointment and refused to let small setbacks consume him. He listened more deeply, forgave more quickly, and sought understanding instead of judgment. In time, he found a job, not because his troubles had vanished, but because he approached each challenge with the resilience of a lake, not the fragility of a glass. Ryan's family noticed the change. The pressure did not disappear, but the conversations grew gentler, the home warmer. Friends sought his advice, drawn by a quiet strength that was not there before. And Ryan, once weighed down by life, found that his heart had space for joy, for love, and for hope. The lesson of the lake is not just for Ryan, it is for all of us. When we feel burdened by the weight of our worries, when the pain seems too strong to bear, we can choose to expand our hearts. We can become lakes by practicing empathy, by embracing patience, by seeking connection. We can remember that sorrow, like salt, does not have to define the flavor of our days. And as we grow, so too does our capacity for happiness. The biggest storms may come, but with a heart as wide as a lake, we find peace in the midst of them. Our pain is transformed into wisdom, our challenges into strength. We become not just survivors, but sources of comfort and inspiration to others. So if this story has touched you, think about the size of your heart the next time life gives you salt. Don't shrink from pain. Expand your spirit. Share this message with someone who might need it. In the end, it's not the problems we face that matter most, but the size of our hearts. Remember, don't be a glass, be a lake.